Oh, morning. That's really loud. We're out today because it's a lovely fine day insofar as it's not too windy and it's not raining. So it's a still calm day and we're going to make a start on the veg beds. We're going now to collect some seaweed. But first of all, I've just been trimming in between because although the grass isn't long yet, I just thought I'll start as I mean to go on, keeping it under control. So if you have a look at these veg beds, you can see that the depth of the soil has dropped because it's settled after a year, last year's growing. So we need to build these up again, and that's what we do every year with our lasagna technique, laying in different organic materials and then topping off with human manure and our homemade compost. So first of all now I'm going to rake these over and hoe them a little bit, and then we'll put down some cardboard and then we'll head off for the seaweed. So I'll just disconnect myself from this and I'll go and get the rake and the hoe. So we practice a no-dig method, and every year we just keep adding to the beds. So that just means adding any kind of organic material. So I have a pile of rotting cardboard. I'm going to put that down next. It rots in, adds a bit of carbon to the soil, and then we'll put the seaweed on top, which is full of minerals. And I know it's only January and it's a bit early. I won't be planting anything out until probably March, but it gives everything chance to start rotting and releasing its nutrients into the soil, and it gives it chance to all settle. So these Brussels sprouts are finished, so I'm going to pull them out. But you see, look at all that. If you imagine every plant coming away with that much soil, and obviously I shake as much back in as possible and knock it off, but nevertheless you do lose soil every year. And we were considering buying in topsoil, but by chance I came across an article of a new company that's set up in Ireland, the fruittree.ie, and they were remarking that when you take topsoil from somewhere, you're adding to environmental damage because it creates more erosion down the line somewhere, it creates water damage, and so really, on the whole scheme of things, it's not a good idea. So we're going back to the old ways of building soil with the organic material, using the seaweed, farm manure, human manure, and the homemade compost. We could also add, if we wanted to, we could just tip in the bucket of kitchen waste to create a bit of heat, to generate heat that will enable the crops to start off, have a better start. So we're going to head off to the beach, collect some seaweed, and then when we get back we'll lay the cardboard. If I put the cardboard now, these chickens are just going to dig it up. So we won't lay the cardboard until we get back because the chickens will have it all dug up and shredded. You can see how helpful they're being here. They're looking for little pests like slug and snail eggs, and we've hardly had any trouble with slugs and snails because we let the chickens roam free for a good 2/3 of the year. So we better get to the seashore before the tide comes in. We're at a different beach today. We usually go to the end of our own road, but today we've come here because, as you can see, there's a lot of lovely rotting seaweed from the winter storms. So it's the best stuff. I'm just going to fill the bed with the seaweed because it will rot down, and after a few days, hopefully we might get a drop of rain, then I can put the semi-rotted cardboard down, and then after another while I'll put down human manure compost, maybe some kitchen scraps that will be, well, I'll do the kitchen scraps on one bed just to create a hotbed. But the miracle of seaweed is that it is absolutely crammed full of minerals, and the minerals are there's tens and tens and tens of them, but including calcium and magnesium, iron, zinc, sodium, phosphorus, manganese, you name it, it's in the seaweed. So that nourishes our soil and remineralizes it, and obviously then the food grown in the soil has all those minerals, so it's very good for us. We've also got some chicken poop just landed, and that's all going to be good too. So if you look at that soil, it just looks lovely. It breaks up but it'll stick together, so it's really good soil. But even though it's so good, it still has to be replenished with the minerals that we get from the seaweed. I'll just keep going at this, and then after a few days we'll add the cardboard. So after this I'm back to the house to continue work on the herb course. There's going to be 6 modules to it, and each module is going to have 5 to 10 different little lessons or workshops. So I'll tell you more about it next week, but in the meantime I'll carry on here, and I hope you have a wonderful week. Hope the weather stays good so we can do a bit of work in the garden, and I hope you have a wonderful week. Thanks for watching. See you next week. Bye.